folks, welcome to iSoft Original, and today is another exciting edition on this smart protector antivirus software we were developing. Okay, so hopefully this project has taken about 2 years now, and I have decided to complete this project once and for all. Really, the main challenge we were facing was I lost the project, so I had to go back to my archives to make sure I find it. And before we get started, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, please do well to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you won't be missing any upcoming episode or whatsoever. So we have a lot of amazing contents on my YouTube channel. Just subscribe and get going. Alright, and also from my itechblogspot.com, you will get a lot of projects there, and they are really amazing. That looks very, very fantastic. Well, so what will we be doing today? Before we get started, from this how to create an antivirus software in VB.NET Part 1, I've been getting a lot of comments. People are asking for the functionalities of this project, and today is the last day. Today is the day we're gonna add functionalities to this particular project. It's really amazing. It's really fantastic to get started with. So with no further ado, let's hop right into today's lesson and let's get started. Now let's start a project and let's see how it actually works. Yes, let's see how it actually works. So we have this amazing software here, and this is what we did, right? This is what we did. We will just be doing some little modification on this page so that we just take this page off, or go to the virus scan here. Then we just this is for the full check. We just go in for the virus scan. Then we just do some little modification here. Just going to take these guys out, and then we do some little modification right there. So let's just get to work and let's get started. Before we get started, I would like to take this opportunity to tell you to create a file. Basically I will be giving you this file on my website, which contains MD5 list of files, which will be scanning for every software to see if any is detected. It will just find it to be as a virus. So we have this virus list file, and I'll be giving you the link to download in the description. You have to go to my blog, then you download it from there. Perfect. So once you have this, you just have to make sure you have it, and you just gonna put it up inside your root directory. So in my case, I just have it here. That's going to be smart protector, and I have smart protector, and I just replaced the file one here as a virus list, and I added another one here as a virus list. So I have these virus list, and there you go. These are the list. I will be giving it to you in the description, so don't really worry. All right, so let's get to work. First thing first, just going to go in for the virus scan. That is where we're going to do all those works. So this is for the full scan, this is for the quick scan, and this is for the scan. So that is what we needed, this. So in my case, I am going to just delete these guys, just take it off, and I'm just going to add a group box. There you go, just like that. And within let's just add a tab control instead. Tab control. Perfect. And this tab control, I would like to dock it up to fill the whole screen. That looks perfect. And now I just love to edit this. So let's go to the tab pages collection. Then I just change this to scan. Oh, come on, you've got to be kidding me. And I'm just going to change this to results. Perfect. So just click on OK. Now we have to add some files here, right? So I'll just have to set this back to maybe deep gray, then I set it out to black. Okay, let's just set these guys to black since we want to work within the colors we are using. Excellent. So with a scanning process, I just need a text box. So I just need one text box. So I'm just gonna a list box. Sorry, let's use a list box. So just drag and drop a list box here, and in my case I will just position it here, push it here, and the scanning and this guy, I just want to take them out. Then I just try and then push this a little way up, and I just put this back. Let's see what we have here. Let's make it 1. Then let's just place it somewhere here. Just want to make a room for this. And this delete virus, I actually want to remove it. I don't really need that. Then I just want to put this here, and I'll just have to push everything up. Okay, then I just push this way up just like that, then I just push it way down. Excellent. Alright, so just click on this group box, make sure you just push it down, and let's just position this guy right there. That looks excellent, right guys? Excellent. So this is going to be where it is going to be scanning. So I'm just going to set the background color to black, right, just like this. Then I set the fore color to white, just like this. So from the results here, I'm actually going to copy this guy, and I'll just paste it right in here. And that is going to be a list box 2, and inside this list box 2, I'm actually going to add 2 buttons in here, and I'll tell you what is going to be doing later. So I just have one here, and I'll add another one here. Okay, I like to set this to green. That is the back color. Just set it up to green. Then I set this to yellow. Perfect. Alright, so let me just set this fore color to white. Okay, that really looks amazing and interesting, right guys? Okay, so now what I'm going to say for here is just delete all. Nothing really serious for this. So I'm just going to say delete all, and this is going to be deleting an individual file. So I'm just going to say delete, just like this. Perfect. Now once I have this, let's get back to these guys, right? So these guys are very, very important here. So with these 3 files, I'm just going to rename this guy to, this is going to count the total files in a particular directory we want to scan. So I'm just going to say total files in directory. Or let's say destination. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just have to push this here, and let's just undo that. So with this little guy, just try and push these guys here, search for this guy, let's move this guy here. Perfect. So with the second one is going to be files scanned. So this is actually going to be the files we will be scanning, right? And the last one is actually going to be the infected files, right? So the files, let's say infected or detected files, just like this. Then you just push this way back like that. Excellent. So let's just set these values into 0, just like that. Let's just set it up to 0, and with the files, let's set this to 0. That really looks excellent and perfect now. So we're just going to call this detected, and I'm just going to call this total, right? So I'm just going to say total. Just make sure you follow this, and this is going to be called files, just like this, right guys? Okay, so now we have a quick scan and we have a full scan, right? Okay, so now we have to add some couple of things. We just have to add some couple of things. So I'm just going to push this here and bring this here, just in case I just want to make some modification on this. So I'll just push this down here, then I just make sure I just extend this to maybe this level or anything related to this, like that. All right, so this looks quite amazing and quite interesting. Let's just start it up and let's see how it actually works. All right, so there you go. We have this nice and smooth. So what we're going to do is we just have to do a replication, right? So reciprocation. Oh, come on. So you just have to move this down, then we move this up. So let's just do that. It's very simple. So we just have to click on this, then you just push this here, somewhere here, click on this, just bring this way up like that, click on this, just bring this way down. Excellent. And that is actually going to work perfectly fine. So this is going to be a quick scan, and this is going to be a full scan, right? So the full scan is actually, let's just say custom scan, right? Just going to say custom scan, just like that. And this is going to be a quick scan, or let's say full scan, or let's use the quick scan. Now we need some couple of things. We need one open file dialog and two folder browse dialog. So one open file dialog, then we add two folder browse dialogs, just like that. Then we need one notifier, and we need 3 timers. So that is one timer, second timer, and then the third timer. So we have 3 timer now, and we have to add a file watch. We have to add a file system watcher. Oh, come on, file system watcher. One here. And with a file system watcher, we just have to set a path as a default path. Just let's choose a default path for the file system watcher. I'm just going to set it up to my C. Any directory you want to do, that is fine, right? Any directory you want to choose, that is fine, right? Okay, so in my case, with the let me just click a pointer with the open file dialog 1, open folder browse dialog 1. I'm just going to set it by default to the C. Then I just set the 2 to D. That is going to be from my D drive. So it really depends on what you want to do, but by default we can decide to choose from the back end. It doesn't really matter, right? Okay, so once we have this, we are good to go. That looks perfect. So first things first, let's go to the backend. Then let's just add some declarations here. First of all, we just have to do some basic imports. So we just have to import system, then we import system dot component model, then we just import system dot diagnosis, then we just import system dot drawing, then we just import system dot io, then we import system dot runtime dot compiler dot compiler service. If you don't really have this, it will just prompt you to download it from the NuGet package. So just keep on typing. So we just have to import system dot security dot cryptography, since we will be working with security aspects using MD5 and all that. So we just have to import system.text, since we will be working with text. We just have to import Microsoft dot Visual Basic. And also the last thing is importing Visual Basic compiler service, and that is, you have to make sure you have how do you call it? I just want to give you the name here. I have it in my reference. You have Microsoft Visual Basic Power Pack installed. So let's just import Microsoft.visualbasic.compiler service, just like this, and just have to make sure you have this installed. So if you don't have that, just right click on the reference, go to manage NuGet, and you just have to search for Microsoft Visual Basic. So just say Microsoft Visual Basic Power Pack, just like this, and there will go. Then you just install that. Just click on install, just click on OK, and that is actually going to import it or install everything into your computer for you, and that is quite okay. So with this, I think we are good to go, right guys? Okay, so that looks quite interesting. Let's get started with some basic codings we need to set up. Let's first go to the watch time, the file system watcher. Just double click on that, and here let's use try, because we don't need basically we don't want to so we don't want to stress ourselves catching up some facing some errors and all that. So I'm just going to use try catch exception. So we're just going to start up by working with the file system watcher. So we basically, I just want to add something here, just to tell me the last file I scanned, right? Or I really, we can do that, but we can also try not to do that. So let's just basically go here, then we try coding. So I'm just going to say me dot open file dialog 1 dot file name equals to nothing. Then we just say let's declare scan box as new text box, right? Okay, now I'm just going to say scan box dot text is now equal to my dot computer dot file system dot read all text, and the text is actually going to be from our virus list. So I'm just going to say virus list dot txt, just like that, and that is going to be to a string. Perfect. And now we just have to declare md5 as new md5 crypto service provider. Then let's declare f as new file system, and this file system is actually going to be e.fullpath. Then we go in for the file mode dot open, then we go in for the file access dot read, then file share dot read, and last but not the least, let's just follow this and sign h2000, just like this. Perfect. Now we just have to say the f we declared is going to be new file stream. Then we just say e.fullpath, then the file name, file mode, so it's just going to be the same thing, dot open. Then we say the file access dot read, then file share dot read, then the same thing goes in here. Perfect. Okay, let me just push this back so you can see it very clearly. So now the MD5 we created dot compute hash, right? And the hash is going to compute it from the F, just like this. So let's see. Okay, so let's declare hash as byte, and this byte is actually going to be equal to MD5 dot hash, just like this. And we are declaring a buff as new string builder, just like this. Then we declare hash byte as byte. Then we go in for each hash byte in hash. Then the buff we created should append, and it is appending a string, and the format is actually going to be just followed by this. It is just a format we want to use, just like this. Then you're just going to use the hash byte, just like that. Now, if there is any error, before we catch up the error, let's close the F, because it is very important to close it. Then we say if, oh come on, so you're just gonna say if scanbox dot text dot contains buff dot to strange, then we have to say me dot open file dialog 1 dot file name equal to e dot full path, just like this. And we will just, if this happens, that means there is a virus, right? So I'm just going to create a folder and call it virus folder, right? I'm just going to call it a virus folder. So I'm just going to create a new folder, a new form. I'm just going to call this FRM virus detected. So yeah, let's just go back here. Then you're just going to say FRM virus detected dot show dialog. Perfect. Then we end the if. Now we can catch an exception, and this exception, I'm just going to call this exception 1. So here I just want to say I'm just going to say project data dot set project error, and this error is going to be the exception 1. Then let's declare ex as exception, which is going to be equal to the exception 1 we created. Perfect. Now the project data dot clear project errors is very important. We just have to clear the project errors. That's all. We will just fix these guys later on, so you just don't worry. Now this is when it is being changed. Now let's go to when the file watcher is being created. It is very important. So let's just click here, go to the file watcher. Or is it? There you go. Then let's go for the create. So when it is being created, we just have to write some code. So let's say try me dot open folder dialog 1 dot file name equals to nothing. Let's declare. So it's actually going to be something like the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. So let's just copy the whole thing. Then let's just go through and do some basic editing. So it's going to be sandbox equal to new text. Then we do this. So it's actually going to be the same thing, and the file system is actually going to be the same thing. Then we have, a compute hash. We have that there. Then we have the MD5, we have a stream builder, we have hasbyte, and we have the for each, and everything looks fine. But after this, we have to show yeah, so I think everything is quite interesting. That is all. It is very, very good. Yes. So we just have to go in for another thing that is actually going to be for the same file watcher. I just want us to complete the file watcher because before we go in for the next one. So that is going to be renamed. There you go. So the rename is actually going to be the same thing as we did for that, and that is also interesting, really. So that's cool. So now let's just try and start up with the timer one. So we're just going to code for the timer one. Before the timer one is going to work, we just have to make sure our progress bar and the names are being renamed successfully. So when you go to the scan, make sure all these things are renamed. You have the progress bar and all that. So now what we're going to say from the timer is we just have to start the progress bar one dot maximum. Let's just set it up to the conversions dot to string. Good. And we're just going to use our list box. Oh, come on. We're just going to use our list box one dot items dot count. Perfect. Then we're just going to say total dot text should be equals to the conversion again dot to string. Perfect. And it's going to be list box one dot items dot count, just like that. Perfect. Now we're just going to say if not, progress bar one dot value is actually going to be the progress bar one dot maximum. If it reaches up to the maximum of this progress bar, then we have to use try catch exception to catch up some errors. So we're just going to say the list box one dot selected index should be equal to the list box one dot selected index. Then we add that plus one, right? Just like that. Okay, that's perfect. Now we just say I just want to add one thing to check out the list of files which are being counting, right? So I can decide to add up something to read up the list, the files, the number of files which are being created. So I'm just going to leave this for now. We can do that later. It will just be counting the list of items which are being scanned. So I can do that by just shifting these up, just like that. Then I just copy this guy, paste it right here, and I would like to just delete one of these progress bar. Then I just put it here, and I'll just set the auto size. That is the auto size. Just make sure you're working with the auto size. Just set it up to false. Then I'll just shift this way up here. Perfect. Then I'll just set this text to nothing. Then I set this to read list. So what I'm going to say is now my read list dot text should be equals to the list box one dot selected item dot to strange. So it's actually going to count the number of files which are being added into my text box, into my list box. This is really important. So if we want to catch up an exception, that is fine. We can just say msg box, then we ex dot message, so we catch any exception if there is any error. All right, so before we end this if statement, let's just add another try, and let's just declare scan box as new text box, as we did for the previous one. And in this time, we're just going to twist some things up. Let's declare read as strange, which is equal to my.computer.filesystem.read all text, as we did for the first one, and that is actually going to be from our virus list.txt, just like this. And we just have to say the progress bar 1 dot increment. Let's set the increment to 1. Perfect. And let's say, okay, the detected dot text, that is going to be the detected label dot text, should be equals to the conversion dot to strange, and the conversion is actually going to be from the list box 2. Now we are fetching from where the viruses will be, so dot items dot count, just like that. So now we're just going to say files dot text should now be equals to the conversions dot to strange, and this conversions is going to be the progress bar 1 dot value. Perfect. Now the scan box we have here dot text is equal to be the read dot to strange. Perfect. All right, so now let's declare md5 as md5 crypto service provider, which is equal to new md5 crypto service provider. Now let's declare f as file system, just like file stream, and now the file stream should be equal to new file stream, and this file stream is actually going to be a list box 1 dot selected item. Then we go in for the file mode as we did for the previous one, and we just say file access dot read. Then we go in for the file share dot read. Then this time we'll just add 8192, just like that. Okay, so this is a file stream as well, so let's just fix those errors. It's not file system, it's actually a file stream. Let's just fix all those errors. Perfect. Let's just fix all these errors since we have the correct. Perfect. So now every error is being fixed right now. Now after this, we just have to say, okay, then the f is now equal to new file stream, and we're just gonna fetch it from the list box 1 dot selected item. Literal is just like the same thing we did. File mode dot open, and make sure we will be closing the file mode because we are opening it, right? So file mode dot open, then we say file access dot read, just want to read it. Then we say file share dot read, then we just add 8192. Perfect. All right, so now the md5 file we have dot compute hash, just like this, and the compute hash is going to be from the f. So this is it. Now let's declare hash as byte, right? and this byte is actually going to be equal to the md5 dot hash, just like this. Perfect. Now let's declare buff as string builder, and this string builder is going to be new string builder. Perfect. Now let's declare hash byte as byte, and let's use for each. So just going to say for each the hash byte we created in hash. So we are using hash byte in hash, the hash we created, and we're just going to say the buff dot append, and we're just going to append a string dot format, and this format is actually going to be this. So just follow me on this, just like this. I don't really know how to explain this to you. That is the reason why I said just follow. So then we just call the hash byte, just like this. So next we're just going to say if the scan box we created dot text dot contains the buff dot to string, then that means there is a virus detected. So we're just going to say list box 2, which is the virus list box dot items dot add. So we're just going to add list box 1 dot selected item, just like this. Well, we can go ahead and then catch some exceptions and do a whole lot of things. So we can say msg box ex dot message if there is any error being catched up. Perfect. Before we end the if statement, let's say else. We just want to stop the timer. So we're just going to say timer 1 dot stop. Then we just say msg box should pop up a message, then we say finished scanning folder. All right, perfect. Now we just have to switch to the tab control. Right now this is a tab control 1 0 and this is 1, right? So when it is done, we just have to automatically switch to this results tab control, but by default it is being selected by the scan. So what we're going to say is the tab control 1 dot select tab. So we're just going to use select tab to be 1. Perfect. So that is actually going to select the tab, and what we're going to say is if our list box 1 dot items dot count equals to 0, then there was literally no virus detected. So we're just going to say msg box, then we say no threat detected, just like that. Detected, just like that. Then we just say scan let's say window will now close or something like that, then just end it. Or I would just prefer to just detect it, just like this. Then I just use msg box style, and that is going to be information here. Perfect. That looks amazing. That looks interesting. All right guys, so let's go back to the scan. So let's go to the quick scan, and that is where we're just gonna start the scan from the quick scan. So basically with a quick scan, we're just going to say that the folder browse dialog 1 dot selected path should be equal to, let's set this to C path, just like this. And I'm just going to copy this since I'm lazy. Then I paste this here. I'm just going to switch this to D. Then I change this to the folder browse dialog 2. So basically this is for quick scan, this is for deep scan. Literally just works the same thing. So from now I'm just going to use try. Then I say for each str directory, I'm declaring str dir as string in system.io, since we are using io, dot directory dot get directories. So we're just going to get the directories, and the directories we are going to get is from the folder browse dialog 1. Where is this? Dot selected path, just like that. And now we just have to use for each again. So I'm just going to say for each, then I call this str file as strange, in system.io dot directory, and now is going to be get files, right? And the files is going to be from the directory, just str dir, just like this. Perfect. Now we have to add it up, so we're just going to say listbox1 dot items dot add, and it's just going to add it from the str file. Perfect. So we can actually catch up some errors. ex.message, that is it. And also we can simply start the timer 1.start, and that is actually going to start the timer. And the timer is actually going to do all these works, right? It's just going to perform all these actions. We're just going to try that in no time, so you don't have to even worry yourself at all. So that is really important. Let's go to the custom so that we work within this custom. So let me just change the text right here. Let's say custom scan. So with a custom scan, let's call this folder browse dialog 1 dot show dialog. Perfect. And you're just gonna say the list box 1 dot items dot clear. Let's just clear them. Yeah. And the list box 2 dot items dot clear as well. Let's just clear them. And the tab control 1 dot select tab. It's not a selected, but the select tab equals to 0. Let's set it up to 0, just like this. So it's just going to switch back to the scan. Then you just use try and do that. So from the try, you're just going to say oh, come on, for each str dir, as we did, as strange in system.io dot directory. Oh, come on, str dir as strange system.io dot directory dot get directories, and this is going to be from the folder browse dialog 1 dot selected path. All right, now we say for each, this similar like the same thing, str file as strange in system.io dot directory dot, now is going to be get files, and this file is going to be from the str dir, just like this. Perfect. Now our list box 1 dot items dot add, and you just have to add the str file, just as we did from the previous one. And if we want to catch some exceptions, we're just going to say msg box, then we say ex.message, then we close it. Perfect. But before we end after the end try, we just have to start the timer. So we're just going to say timer 1 dot start, just like that. Don't forget to save your project, since we don't have any errors in our project now. Now let's see for the timer 2, and let's see what the timer 2 is actually going to do. The timer 2 is going to remove the virus from our computer, right? So let's just double click on the timer 2, and what we're going to say is let's use try. If not, then listbox, if not listbox 2 dot items dot count equal to 0. That means there is no virus on our computer. Then you're just going to say listbox, oh come on, 2 dot selected index plus equals 1. just like this, and we're just gonna say let's kill it because we're just gonna delete it. So we're just gonna say kill list box 1 dot selected item, just like this. And let's use else, then let's stop the timer 1 and then the timer 2, else it will still keep on looping, just like this. And after that we just have to use up a message box, and let's just say thread was let's say thread was removed successfully. If there is any virus, it's just gonna pop up this, and I'm just gonna use information from here. Perfect. So if there is any error, you're just gonna catch any error, just like this. That looks great, and I really love this. So we have this, and we have the custom. That looks great. Now let's go to the results and let's see for the delete guy. Really this is very, very important. Let's go to the delete guy and let's see how we can work within the delete guy. So with the delete guy, as I said, it is very, very simple. It's kind of the same code we added here. It's going to be the same thing, right? So just have to say try to kill the list box 2 dot selected item. It is killing it, and then we just say list box 2 dot items dot remove. So in this case we are removing an item from the list box 2 dot selected item. Perfect. Alright, so after that we just have to pop up a message box telling say thread removed successfully. Let's just copy this, and I'm very lazy for this. And after that, just gonna catch up some errors if there is any error in here. This is a very clean code. That is perfect. Now let's see for the delete all. The delete all is actually going to be very, 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 very simple. So with the delete all, we just have to start up the timer 2. So the timer 2 is actually going to delete everything since we are starting up the timer 2. This really works amazing and is really fantastic. I really love this, and I think is a good thing to rememorize. All right, so once we have this all done and we are good to go, I think it is time for us to just make sure our system is quite working perfectly fine. So let's test this out and let's see how it's actually gonna be. So just click on start. All right, so there you go. We have our smart antivirus protector. Let's go here, and there you go. So we have the scanning and then the scanning results here. So I'm just gonna click on the quick scan. There you go. So access to the path C document and settings is denied, right? So yeah, so it is actually scanning. As you can see, it is really working. This is a real antivirus. So finish scanning folder, and there you go. It just returns us to the results. So no virus detected, right? So these are the things it was scanning, and you can see them here. So total files which was scanned, it was 11. File scanned was 11. Infected files was 0. So let's go in for a quick scan, a custom scan, and I'm just going to do that from my C drive. Then I just go to Windows, then I just click on OK. Okay, so I think I don't have permissions to my folders. I have restricted my folders to some permissions, so just don't worry, yours will not be doing that. So there you go. We have a lot of files to scan. Perfect. So everything is done and there is no virus here. So when I just click it, value cannot be null, right? That means there is no virus. So we just, if there is no virus, you can't just delete. It will just tell you an error, right? So how to solve this is very simple. You just have to go to the scan. From the delete, you saw we have some message here, that is ex message. So from here we can add up a custom message. Then we say no virus was detected to be deleted. Let's make it looks much more interesting, so the end user will understand. Perfect. So let's try that once again and let's see if it's actually going to work. But before you do that, make sure you have the virus scan file inside your project, right? Otherwise it's actually not going to work. So just go to the file scan. Let me just use a custom scan. Let me just go to my downloads, click here, and there you go. I am really scanning for some files. Okay, so the operation didn't complete it successfully because it really contains virus and potentially wanted softwares and all that. So let's just wait for it to see if there is any. So I am scanning for 238 files, and it is really scanning. Right, guys, it is really scanning for every file in my downloads folder. All right, guys, so I really love this. And okay, so I don't think we're gonna go in for these guys, but if you just want us to go in for these guys, just let me know in the comment section below. It is almost 52 minutes recorded, and I don't want to keep this video very long, so hopefully maybe on our next video we're just going to see how we can add it up to a full scan. Or here is just gonna display some basic information, then we use this as the main virus scan. Then the speed up to, we just try to clean up our temporal files, and we boost our RAMs and some kind of things like that. And also with the clean files, just going to do the prefetch and then the clean temps and all that. And then with the toolbox as well, well, we already have these guys, and they are really amazing. All right, so now we don't have any virus detected on my computer, so I just click on delete to just say no